Welcome to today's episode of our Deep Dives, presenting the award-winning solutions of this year's UX Design Awards spring season. My name is Akko Rudolph. I'm Head of Strategy at the International Design Center Berlin and Director of the awards. Just a quick info up front, if you're watching us now on LinkedIn Live, if you got any question, just post them to the event chat and we'll bring them into the conversation. If you're on Zoom, you can also join us live after the presentation for a Q&A. And if you'd like to sign up for Zoom, just jump to our website, uxdesignawards.com events and register there. You can actually join us regularly for deep dives and talent tracks, where we present award-winning designers and teams and inspiring UX conversations with our jury members. We hope to offer you valuable insights on design processes, new developments in the UX domain and beyond. You can find all our events and recordings on our website, LinkedIn page, and of course on YouTube. But now, in today's deep dive, we'll be talking about how a straightforward AI application can help city councils to better service roads and ease the day-to-day workload of their employees. Boring subject? You might think so, but it's not. So listen up for Vialytics, who will be going to present the intelligent road management app that won the product award in this year's spring competition season. The jury noted actually about this product that the app truly excels by focusing on a specific problem and a clearly defined user group. And it stood out among its competition by connecting to hardware that allows drivers to capture data quickly and securely without having to interact with devices, which is quite important when they drive. And it has a UX that's straightforward and just gets the job done, which is also quite important in this user group. We'll hear right about this. For more about the solution, I'm glad to welcome two key members of the team. And actually, there's a surprise for you because Birgit Wunder, who is Vice President for Customer Success and Sales Global, will be here talking with us, together with Christian Wehle, who's the Product Manager for the solution. And as a slight change of plans, Andy Kozmak unfortunately couldn't make it, but I think Birgit will be just, or even much better than him. And we're looking forward to hear from both of you. Also here in the Zoom, which you can't see now on LinkedIn, are the two senior UX UI designers and developers, Anton and Vladislav. So if you've got specific questions about design, just shoot them out and we'll be happy to ask them directly. So hello to all of us, all of you, our guests, and it's great to have you here. How are you?
Thanks a lot for the introduction and thanks a lot for having us. It's a great pleasure to be able to present our award-winning app today.
Wonderful. Birgit, as you already have the mic, and Christian, you've got the screen. Take it away from here. Looking forward to hear more.
Thanks a lot. So welcome everybody to the presentation of our deep dive. And again, thanks a lot for having us and giving us the amazing opportunity to present the redesign of our Vialytics smartphone app. Great project. Chris was in the lead. Chris is our product manager responsible for our app design. My name is Birgit. You just heard that Andy Kozma was originally planned to host this session. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but very happy to be here and to step in. So before we actually deep dive into the project itself, I would just like to introduce Vialytics to those who have never heard of Vialytics before. Hopefully not too many listeners today. So what and who is actually Vialytics? We are a company founded in Stuttgart in 2018. We are based in Stuttgart still, so our main head office is still in Stuttgart. Some of you might have heard of the city of Stuttgart. I mean, small minor brands like Mercedes or Porsche also come from Stuttgart. So we have quite an entrepreneurial spirit going on in Stuttgart. We have gone global a couple of years ago, actually, so that went quite quick. We are present in 7 different countries around the globe. We have more than 300 international customers from small municipalities of 15 kilometers road network up to big counties with almost 5,000 kilometers. A big customer is the city of Prague in the Czech Republic with 3,500 kilometers that we have under management. So there is no municipality that is too small or too big for our solution. And that's great because we have actually everywhere applicants and users of our product. We are a super international team with almost 80 employees now. So we have doubled the number of employees in the last 2 years, which makes me very, very proud. We have an amazing team up and running. And also we closed a successful Series A round in January this year, where we could welcome a new investor, and we managed to raise $10 million in our Series A. So that's practically the basic facts around Vialytics. But who actually are our customers? Our customers are in the B2G sector. So that means we are working with municipalities, actually, what is a municipality? That could be a city, could be a town, could be a township, a small village, could be a county, could be a state. So everything on a governmental and administrational level is a potential customer. And they are pretty much all facing the same challenges around the globe. Which is a lack of skilled workers and an increasing number of duties they would have to fulfill. It's mainly the building yard that are the user of our app, but also the building authorities, the DPW crews around the globe that would make use of our product, and they have a lot of duties on their plate. And it's very tough to fulfill all of them, especially as road maintenance takes up a lot of the daily workload. And still 90% of all the municipalities are still managing the roads with pen and paper. So you can imagine how tough it is if you have 3,500 road kilometer network like Prague, for example, and you have to do that with pen and paper. You were driving around, 2 people in the car, one is driving, the other one is taking notes and pictures. That's still, definitely not state of the art anymore. And we really want to help municipalities to digitize their processes when it comes to road management. Also, a big thing is that 1/3 of all employees in public administration will retire by 2030, and there is not enough new people going into public administration and working in public administration to fill that gap. So we definitely have to try and trim, streamline, fine-tune all these processes around globally, but also in road management, to really help them slim it down and have lean processes in place. So next one, please. Chris, thanks a lot. So you can see the left-hand side of the picture is how it looks today. It's a lot of pen and paper. It's a lot of manual work. It's excessive stacks of paper and paperwork. On the right-hand side is a quick glimpse of how it looks at Vialytics. So what do we actually do and what did we develop? Chris will introduce the app in a minute, but the app is just the first part of our process, but it's easy to use. That was very important to us. So I always say, Vialytics is actually AI for pragmatists. So it's not rocket science. It's not completely off. It's not fancy. It is very down to earth. It's easy to handle. So even, I would say, blue collar workers without a university degree can understand it. They can handle it because in the end, it is a smartphone and an app. And practically everyone today knows how to handle a smartphone and an app. So if you've ever written WhatsApp or you've ever posted something on Instagram, you know how to handle our app. So that makes it very easy, and the ease of use is one of the main triggers at the moment. You've just quickly seen that little video. So actually, how does it work? The employees and the building yard workers, they would just mount our smartphone on the inner side of the windscreen of their cars, and they would just drive around in normal traffic. So don't have to slow down, they don't have to pull over, they don't have to stop, they don't have to slow down. It's normal traffic, and the app would automatically take a picture every 4 meters. And after that drive, the information, the data gets uploaded to our servers, and then our AI and our algorithm does its magic. And it would assess all these pictures, so every 4 meters picture, for 15 different damage classes, could be different types of cracks, could be different types of outbursts, and the algorithm does not lie. So it's not a subjective assessment anymore, like people would do it, but it's very, very objective. It's very quick. It's very state of the art. So municipalities can actually find this real-time data a couple of days after their assessment, and not like in the past, probably 12 to 18 months later, when they would get provided with this massive paper report to learn about the condition of their streets. So we would do that in a couple of days, real-time data, and they can access it via our vialytics web system, individual account for every customer, and always know where they stand when it comes to assessing their streets. They would be shown a heat map, which is like a traffic color indication. So traffic lights, light green would mean perfectly in order, no major damages, to grade number 5, which is practically indicated in deep red. Exactly, thanks, Chris. And that would mean major distress. So there is absolute need for action to do something when it comes to maintaining and also managing these streets. So just to quickly understand, it's 2 pieces actually: the app where you would do the assessment, and also the web system where you can manage the data. Also, the app can be used for daily work, for track controls, and also for an integrated and holistic workflow and task management. So every building out worker can actually have the app on the smartphone. They can use it on a daily basis. They can track tasks. They can manage assets, everything they see, everything they feel they need to manage, everything they would have to have on their task and to-do list on a daily basis can be managed with that one app in the future. And a lot of customers, as I said, 300 customers are already using it, are already doing it and integrating it into their daily work. To give you an idea of how the app works and how the app looks like, I would like to hand over to Chris, who can actually introduce you to the deep dive. And if you got questions afterwards, I will also give you a brief insight in what we got planned next, and then we have time to answer your questions during our Q&A session. But thanks a lot, and I would hand over to Chris.
Excuse me, Chris, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Ah, yes, you can. All right, okay. Welcome from my side. Thank you very much for the introduction, Birgit. As you already saw, the very first part of our whole system is our smartphone app. And this is why it's very crucial to deliver a very easy UX, because we also have a very special target group. And we grew very fast recently, as you also saw and heard from Birgit, but not really state of the art was our smartphone app. It looked very old fashioned and did not have a great UX. And we really saw customers, users, and also even our colleagues struggling when using the smartphone app. That's why we decided to go for a real complete redesign of the whole smartphone app. And actually the motivation, the goal was also to make it as intuitive as possible, so that we even would be rewarded from a UX design award, which we luckily now did. So thank you again to the UX design award team. But first of all, let me introduce you to our project team, the people behind this project. At the left, you can see our great senior UX expert, Patrick Starantino, who is unfortunately not part of the meeting today. But we have Antoine from Russia calling in, senior iOS developer, and Vlad, also senior iOS developer from Canada right now. And myself, of course, a product manager, a product owner in our vialytics system for the smartphone apps and also for some parts of the web app. And the background when I started at vialytics was also custom success. So I handled about 50 to 60 customers over a time span of 1.5 years and really got to know the customer. And this actually is also key, in our opinion, for proper product management. For us, the topic problem discovery is a very important topic. And that's why we do different things here. For example, here at the left, you can see we really want to go out there. We really want to get to know our target group, which is mainly building out people, building out workers, especially for our product smartphone app. And here we just went there for several days. Here you can see my colleague, Daniel Motz, replacing some damaged traffic signs in a municipality here around Stuttgart. This was very interesting for us to really see how they work on a daily basis. Second pillar for our problem discovery was, especially in the last year, our Innovator Club account, which is a special selection of wide, broad power users of our vialytics system from different departments, different backgrounds. We met like once a month virtually, interactive brainstorming sessions, also feedback sessions, especially to current product management topics, which helped us really get into the topics really deep. And third part, also very important as more or less one of the first steps, was that we asked our new UX designer, Patrick, before even knowing the vialytics system, before even knowing anything more or less, to go out there with our hardware package and really go into the car, do an inspection, just as the users do, without any instructions before. And then we just asked him, hey, watch the moments, the points where you are struggling with our whole experience, especially with our smartphone app. And as you can see here, he found a lot. And this also got confirmed by our colleagues, because also for every new colleague we did, and actually we still do, we still give them the hardware package and also ask them to do exactly that, because our goal is to not need any explanation, and all of the necessary instructions should be in the app itself at the right place. This is how we discovered the problem, how we really dived into the problem. And at the beginning, before our whole redesign project, it looked like this. So pretty old-fashioned design, very grayish design. You can see. Also, we just built in more and more features because our users requested more and more features. For example, here at some point they requested a map. Then we just built in the button map view here, and then they wanted to have filters, and it just looked like more or less old-fashioned. Also, we had very long paths for actually very short actions. Not good at all. I will speak about that later in more detail. Also, we did not have a lot of guidance in the app itself. And the whole app, the whole vialytics experience for the building yard workers was seen as like a must-do task. They did not really like it. They did not enjoy it. And this is what we wanted to change. Before going to the concept, however, we also dived into the target group even more. And until that point, we did also not have any definition of our target group. We did not have any user personas. Now we have one for the smartphone app, one for the web system. And for the smartphone app, this is him. We call him Bob. Just a representative picture here. Bob is 45 years old, building yard worker. He's really physical skilled, which you can see here. His main goals are like taking care of the city, documenting damages, and the pains, obviously too much work, time pressure, too much paperwork, bad salary, and the gains which he gets through our vialytics smartphone app, less drives to check situations on site because they have a digital twin after doing one complete inspection. Easier documentation because we just do it automatically. When they drive around, we just track the GPS track and timestamps and so on. And just very easy identifying and working off tasks. And one special thing about the target group for us is definitely a low tech savviness, because you can also see they are probably older than the average in this meeting here, in this live stream here. And therefore not that smartphone intuitive, especially not iPhone intuitive. And by that, we define some goals for our project. First of all, it should be easy to use, especially for these non-smartphone native users from the building yard. Second one, of course, it should be a modern design, also according to our corporate design. Until that, it was also not accordingly. And also, of course, we wanted to provide short paths for really quick actions, which they needed to do on a daily basis without investing a lot of time. And we wanted to make the app entertaining and enjoyable, and especially appreciative, because these building app people really have a hard job and really do a great job out there. and we want to also demonstrate and say thank you for this. Then we went to the concept creation. Probably many in this live stream here are also UX designers or product managers, so you are used to the tool Figma. We also used Figma, and we divided our smartphone app into different parts. You can see them here into sections. Each feature more or less is a section, always portrait and then landscape. And then we created the concept for each single section, and also did iterative beta testing with click dummies on site. As you can see here, actually here I'm showing something to the man here, but actually I always prefer to just watch how they are using it, because there, we always learn the most watching. And third pillar of concept creation was also, if we still had questions in detail, we are very happy that we have a great customer success team who is doing webinars regularly to just kick off to instruct the users how to use the web app. And there we also always have the possibility to place some product management related questions and then get quantitative results, some numbers, not only qualitative, also numbers. And by that we implemented it. Our great developers, Vlad and Anton, implemented the great design from Patrick. And let me just show you some pillars of how it looks like now, some before and after comparisons. For example, short paths. Here we said we really want to provide short paths for necessary actions. One of the most frequent use cases for our users was whenever they see any damage around them, when they are just out there doing some stuff, they just want to very quickly grab their phone and take a picture, take a task out of it, and then put it back into the pocket. But so far, this was not a short path, it was a long path. Maybe we can do a very quick survey or just a question. What do you guys think? How many clicks did they need to create a quick task? If there are any answers, you have to further them to me. Okay. Don't see them.
I'd estimate 6.
6. Right, yeah. Pretty close, but it was even 8. Insanely 8 clicks, which they needed to do, to create a new task. It was like clicking on here, the top button, new inspection, and then new track control, start track control, add task, add image, save image, finish image, finish track control. 8 clicks. Way too many. And now in the right side, in our new app, we only need 3 clicks because we just directly place the button to get a new task on the main screen. 3 clicks versus 8 clicks. Second pillar, instructions. So far, we had a 16 pages booklet. I think you can also already call it book in the old hardware package, because we really explained all the single steps, every click which they had to do, which they had to perform in the app itself. But now we just have this very small leaflet here, 2 sides, and all the rest, as soon as they really use the app, is in the app itself. So we just implemented the instructions at exactly the right place where they're needed. For example, here at the right side, you can see we instruct them when and how to place the iPhone in the mobile phone holder on the windscreen. So things like that, instructions implemented in the app at the right place. Also, similar here, we have this smart button, which also Eike already introduced you to. This is a possibility to directly from the steering wheel while driving, create a new georeference task with an image and with the possibility to even attach a voice recording. So they did not have to press the smartphone all the time because it's dangerous while driving, obviously. But for this Bluetooth button, at the very first step, they needed to connect it, but they did not know. They had to go for settings Actually, it was even called information back then. And then to somehow click on connect a new smart button. And now they don't need to know when and how to connect it, because we just provide a proper modal, proper pop-up for them at exactly the right place, only when there is not already a button connected. What else? Modern design, of course. You can see also the difference here at the left. This is our previous task list. And at the right, it's the new one. So just a more clean and also time independent design, I would say. Very also similar to other list applications. Also, Google Maps was one of our role models, of course. And that's why it looks like this, more or less, yeah. Known elements also from Google Maps. You see the big buttons here, the settings here, the possibility to center the map again, the compass to see in which direction you are driving or walking, and always only one big call to action button in our vialytics yellow color. And you can also see big buttons, because this is also very important for our target group. Building out people have very big fingers like me, and they also need big buttons. And last but not least, I already introduced the positive user experience. So we really wanted to say thank you after, especially they sit in the car for several hours and just doing the inspection. And then at the end, they will now always get a confirmation, hey, well done, you've collected X images and epsilon markers today. And also directly, again, instructions here, the next step, what they had to do. Connect iPhone to Wi-Fi to upload images to the vialytics web app, which is the other part of our system. These were our pillars of our new concept of our new smartphone app. And then after having this released, we were very happy to see that our users really used it in very many different use cases. Only some of them you can see here. For example, at the left top corner, winter service, because the building yard also has to do winter service and they have to document the winter service, where they have been and when and in which direction, and some more stuff. And now they can just use our smartphone app, document it automatically without clicking anything manually. And they just like to create tasks for things that are blocking them, for example, cars. This was one of the interesting use cases, or here at the right top corner, a sweeper, because obviously they have to clean their roads almost on a daily basis. And then they just mount our smartphone app in there, because they are anyway driving around the city. Also bicycles, of course, meanwhile, is also possible for bike lanes. They also just manage their greenery and designs. And also one thing here, they document excavations from external companies, like for broadband companies. They just also use the same street, and still the building yard, the building authority needs to know about that and also need to document it, so that they could theoretically claim damages later, like warranty. And last example here, playgrounds. Also, meanwhile, we have a lot of municipalities using our task management tool to document their condition of their playgrounds. So every equipment in the playground gets a task, and then for their weekly frequent inspections, they always add a new image. And with that image show, hey, everything is still good. And if not everything is good, then they still have to create another task to describe how to repair. And these are only some of the use cases. And actually, I think this was definitely already a highlight after the release of the smartphone app, that we just saw how different the users used our app or are still using. And in total, after also discussing with these three other guys here, we said the biggest highlight of the whole process was probably the release of the very last feature, because as you saw, we just reworked every single part of the app step by step, not only concerning design, also concerning structure, information architecture, and just provided definitely a better experience. And some aha moments, very last slide from me. Yeah, we are very, very happy about the flexibility of our smartphone app that just allowed or still allows huge amount of different use cases. We think that information where you need it is key for smooth workflows. Our target group really loves and actually needs big buttons. Also a fun story to share here. After this whole release of the smartphone app, we also went out there and asked them, hey, what's your favorite new feature and so on. And we just expected them to say like, hey, your new quick marker only needs 3 clicks or something. But no, the answer was, we like your big buttons. And this is what we still have in mind. So design for the user, not for yourself, but still state 2023, many are struggling with iPhone usage in general, because many people of the building yard also are not used to iPhones, they are used to Android, and they are therefore even struggling with just turning on or turning off the phone, or minimizing or closing the app. Stuff like that, we in the app can't change, right? But also small teaser here, we are also already working on a solution for that, which Birgit will tell you later. Handing over to you, Birgit.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, it almost made me laugh to see the screenshots of the old app. You quickly forget how it looked like a year and a half ago. So I think that was really a quantum leap when we see how it looks now. So great job to the whole product and app team. Yeah, what is next? I know we're running a bit late, so I'm trying to speed things up a bit. What we got planned next? We definitely want to reach our so-called moonshot. What does that mean? By the year 2030, we want to have 400,000 kilometers under management. And if you're interested in where we stand now, we have 53,000 kilometers under management. So it's still a distance to go, but we're in a good way. We're going international. End of 23, we entered the US market. I told you a couple of minutes ago. And there is a lot more to come, definitely. And also, as Chris already spoiled, a little spoiler, we are apparently further developing our smartphone apps. So what did we do now, especially for people that are not used to the iOS app and not used to using iPhones, which are a lot in our target group? We have developed the so-called and brand new vialytics to-do app. So today we are still providing customers with iPhones where we have pre-installed our app so they can use it mainly for road condition assessment. But as we said before, and as you've learned before, we want customers to use our app on a daily basis. And this only works if every employee has their own app on their own phone. So normally in building yards, they would not have Apple smartphones, but they would have whatever smartphones based on Android. So we decided to also develop the app available and made it available for Android phones, but also iOS. And apparently it makes sense to have the app available in the common store, so the App Store and the Google Play Store. So customers and users can download that app from the App Store now and can really use it on a daily basis to tackle their task management, to do their track controls, to really make sure that streets in their own municipality and town are safe every day. If you think about your families, the children using streets, cycling, being out there, I think everyone agrees that safe streets is a big topic and a very important topic. And we're very happy if we can support our customers with making our streets safer every day a tiny bit more. So thanks a lot. That was the outlook on what we got planned next. And this is one of our customers, and always like to have customer voices, because in the end, who has the last word? Sometimes it's our CEO, but normally it's our customer. And in this case, it's Stefan Hopf. And that's practically what we hear a lot from the customers. We used to manage our roads with pen and paper, but now it is so easy with vialytics. And if you remember that before I said, like, I love to call it the AI for pragmatists, and these people are the pragmatists. They want to use it on a daily basis. No high maintenance thing, not fancy, very down to earth, daily basis, easy to use on their phones. And that's practically what our customers confirm. And then I would say mission completed, not the moonshot yet, but taking steps to get there very soon. So thanks a lot for your attention, and hopefully we didn't run too late, Ake, but I think you would like to open the Q&A session, so happy to answer your questions. Thanks a lot for your time and for listening.
That's right. Also, thanks a lot from me. That was a very concise and great presentation. Bear in mind, I just got information that there is a small time lag between Zoom and LinkedIn, so some questions might come in a bit later. First of all, you showed us many different elements of the app and the system. Can you just very briefly tell us a little bit about the workflow when somebody is doing the inspection, and actually what about the markers that you showed also on the map? Are they placed directly by the AI or are they manually placed? So how do you imagine the workflow of somebody?
Probably I can take this one. The typical workflow right now for our customers is, that it all starts with our hardware package, which they get at the very beginning of their contract. They get a small introduction by our customer success manager, and then they are able to do different things. Actually, one of the main use cases is a condition assessment, and therefore they just mount the smartphone on the windshield and drive along their streets once over all the streets which they have in their street area network. And then the app takes an image every 4 meters, and afterwards all the images get uploaded to the cloud, and then our AI looks for damages, actually for 15 different damage classes. You saw some of them in the video before. And after that process is also done, takes not more than 30 days. This is what we promise. The results are shown in the web system. This is the automatic thing, but still we only automatically detect damages on the street surface. But there is more what the building yard has to maintain. For example, traffic signs, for example, playgrounds, for example, greenery. And this is why they have the possibility to still create manual markers, manual tasks, either in the smartphone app itself or with the steering wheel button all the time, no matter if they're driving, walking, or going with the bicycle.
Right, so there is actually a hardware piece where you can place markers and leave more information about the marker that you placed. How do you leave information there? Is there voice assistance? How does it work?
Yeah, right. First click is just to take an image at exactly the right position in the map. If you then in the next 10 seconds again press and hold it, then a voice recording gets attached to this task. And these voice recordings automatically get translated to text right after it.
Great, so there is also documentation involved. Just stepping back into the bigger picture, because we have a couple of questions on details, and thanks a lot for this from the audience. I'm wondering, this is a very peculiar use case. Public roads, public safety, not really something very typical maybe that a startup would go into. Also in terms of business, there's public procurement, so it's very slow sometimes, and it's a very manual and traditional also workflow, as you said beforehand. So how did the idea for Vialytics start? Can you fill us in on your beginning story?
It was actually back in 2017 when our 3 founders met, and it was actually a bigger program that they were joining, and they were grouped just in that group, so they didn't even know each other before, and they were asked to design something around infrastructure, around detecting potholes, around traffic. So there was quite a vague program and project description. And after that, they said, like, are we not fully there yet? It doesn't sound very specific. It doesn't sound very tempting. It doesn't sound like there is something to it. So what could we actually do, and where is actually need? And that's practically what we know from our everyday lives. When you are going somewhere, you get all these potholes, you have cracks in the streets. It is super dangerous. Everyone has had damages at their cars, at their bikes because of bad streets. And we said there must be something behind that. There must be something that we could do. And we were digging into it, they were digging into it, and see, okay, there is practically no solution. So they were asking people, how do you do that today? How do you maintain your roads? And then we very quickly found out, oh God, that's still pen and paper. So there was no practical solution. There was high-end laser measurements and all this stuff, which a lot of municipalities did, but there was nothing that they could use on their own. Nothing like an app, nothing like a smartphone. It was time consuming. It was long waiting times to get the results. And they said there is so much potential to it. It's not the typical and super sexy audience that you would say, like B2B or B2C, which is very quick, very dynamic. But that was also part of the challenge. We made it super exciting to develop something where we say, okay, how can we crack especially this target group? And I think they succeeded, as we see today, in developing something for that specific target group that is very, very hands-on, but still helps digitizing processes, which was exactly what the municipalities needed.
Thanks a lot for this brief story on how you developed, and it's great that you found this niche and this true need, but because this is only where a solution can actually work and exist if you understand the problem, and of course if you develop the right solution, which I think you did, also according to the jury. Can you tell us a little bit about the timeline for this project and its duration? There was actually a question from Silvio Hopuli, who is working at Palon, which is a company which is about sewer and manhole assessment. So right, your industry.
Interesting. Yeah, actually, I'm also not completely sure anymore, but I think it was a process of like half a year. Anton, Flood, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Christian, it's probably this time scale is more correct.
Yeah.
With the
Roughly.
testing, with the final check with our clients, it took about like half a year.
And that's including research and development, or that was for the first version of the app?
Yeah.
Yes. From the first design in Figma until the final product release.
So how long did it take to do the redesign? Because you had a bit more of an extensive user research process as well, and more design put into it?
I can probably tackle this. It was challenging from the start because we're not just initially breaking something, we're making something better by remaining our core functionality and extending the user abilities, which are pretty limited, as Christian and Birgit already said, because it's a construction worker, they are driving, and all should be not just animating, bumping, it should be functional at the first time. Then it should remain the core features, and with all of the steps and all of the things in mind, we are gently put all of the modern designs and all modern features into the app, which brought us here. Was pretty time consuming, but it worth it, because it's nothing better than make your client happy and do more stuff with less time. It's our main goal and what we are targeting all the time.
And of course, the app is part of a wider system. There is hardware, we talked about the button, and there is, of course, a software suite where the information gets documented, and there is access for the management in municipalities. Is that correct? Is there anything I missed?
No, I would say this is correct, completely correct.
So I'm wondering, what were your biggest challenges when you introduced the app at the beginning, concerning your core users, or let's say the primary users, which would be the municipal workers and of course managers. But we're talking about the app now, so it's about people working in maintenance? The
Yeah,
biggest challenges, and how did you overcome them, of course?
Yeah, biggest challenges, definitely one of them was the iPhone itself, that they were just not used to use iPhones. And therefore we still have this, this printed leaflet here to instruct them how to even start the phone so that they can even open the app, because we have to guide them until this point. And also just giving a little bit more instructions about, what is vialytics all about and what happens after they have uploaded the images and so on, because also many of the building up people don't have the access to the web system where they see the results, because this is mainly building authority job. This is definitely one of the biggest challenges and still is. That's why we go for the Android app as well. Second is just, that they are not used to smartphones at all, and therefore also have a different behavior with the smartphone itself. You can also, some of you maybe can imagine this when explaining something to your parents on the computer. They just, I think they think differently than us who grew up with these digital applications. And that's why we needed to find the sweet spot between nice and future and design how we would like to design it and our target group.
And I guess this is exactly what the jury meant, that it's a straightforward user experience that just gets the job done. So it's really appropriate for your user group. And it's interesting to hear, because I would think that most people by now, and this was the revolution of the iPhone, that both children and older people can use it just as well. But it's good to hear from you, and it's good to everybody out there to remember not everybody is a digital native when you design your products. Staying with actually the apps that you talked about, Birgit, in your last slide, I'm wondering that now it's a completely different question, maybe not more on the business model and less on the design, but now that you have 2 apps in the App Store, so what functions do they offer, and which don't, and how does it fit into your business model? Because you're selling the entire system to municipalities. Or is there a version that actually everybody can use for everyday tasks that you can download?
Very good question. I think Chris will be super capable of answering that, but I will try my best to do that too. So you need an account that is linked to a user account, to a well-known user account. So you can download that app for free, but then you would have to register with your user account, and we would link it in our backend to a known user, to a known customer. So it's not for inhabitants, it's not for citizens. No, it's not like this classical pothole alert that some of you might know, but it's really closely linked to the system. So we clearly need to know which users are using the app and which municipality they belong to, because apparently we would need to match all the tasks they create, all the markers they create with the respective customer account. So in the end, the customer can log into their web system account and find all the details and all the markers, all the tasks that have been recorded in their account.
Maybe if I may add here, also concerning the differences in the feature scope of the app, there is a difference, because right now our current iPhone app does provide all the operation modes which we provide, which are actually 3. And we just want to more or less create a copy of that also for Android. We implemented the iPhone app completely in native Swift code, and now we just want to go for Android. And here we just go for stages. Like right now, only the possibility to create and manage a task. So only the manual stuff is possible in our vialytics to-do app. This is how it's called on Android. But soon there will also be the automatic condition assessment, hopefully. But this will be a challenge, because we don't know how these Android devices react to such big challenges. We just know the iPhones.
So if anybody out there who has experience on this, especially in this sector, please reach out to Christian, Anton, Vlad, and through LinkedIn, give them some advice. Actually, there is another question from Silvia Hohuli, who's again working in your industry, and he asked which features were requested by customers that you decided not to include in the product. I think that's an interesting question.
Yeah, a lot. Actually, we are still getting requests daily, and I think this is also one of the biggest challenges as product managers to say no, because it just does not fit. It does not align to our product vision, because we really want to cover all the workflows for street management. And some parts are not really covering this. For example, like a citizen request form, so that everyone could theoretically also just document the damages or the things they realize when walking through the streets, what the building yard should do. Because some of our building yards don't like to get that, because it will be a mess, and it will not be like in the current state where they are already tackling some of the issues. This was one of the examples maybe which we so far declined. But time can change.
I was about to ask, do you see, because I can see a big potential there for crowdsourced knowledge in a city. So I understand there is a difficulty in balancing, maybe, you know, the documentation done by professionals, and of course the amount of data, multiple requests on something they might be working on in the background, but people don't know. But is this something that you're exploring further?
Yes, we are actually. Also, every new market, like now the USA, brings also new challenges, new requirements, also new wishes. And that's why we not decline one topic forever, but at least like temporarily.
And I'm wondering, how do requests or do requests change from city to city, and especially also maybe from city to countryside? Because there was also a question by Prahmut Mali, whether the app works in rural areas as well.
Good question, yeah. Rural areas sometimes are problems when the streets are not having a concrete surface, because our algorithm is trained on detecting damages on concrete surface, like on a plain surface. And if this is not there, yeah, we don't really provide a good AI, of course. Or also some other regional differences are, for example, in North Germany, we have a lot of cobblestones, completely different way of streets. But this is a huge challenge for our algorithm. We have been trying to tackle this issue since a while, since at least like I'm there, 2 years, but still the performance was not good enough so that we could also include these kind of street damages. But also still, we don't give up. Maybe it will get a product management topic again.
Maybe a super quick addition, rural areas in general work perfectly fine. So wherever you have a solid GPS signal, you can use our product. So.
Yeah, you can.
There were questions, how do you document feedback from users, and if there's actually a feedback form implemented within the app itself?
No, we need a feedback form. You're right. Right now, we just provide a lot of contact possibilities, because also special thing with our vialytics is that each partner municipality has its own responsible person, always the same person. And then they have a very direct contact from the very first touch point on, which is the kickoff, and they just guide them through the whole system, through the whole life cycle. This is what we have right now. But still, we are getting, of course, a lot of emails and so on, and we just try to collect them, try to prioritize them. We've got also a big internal idea board, because also our customer success managers and also our sales managers frequently come to us with ideas which they hear from their municipalities, of course. And therefore, we also have an idea board where they could enter them and also vote other ideas. And then it gets more attention for us in product management. And then we decide if it should go to the product roadmap for the next half a year or not.
Actually, it connects a little bit to the question of Almir, who works at BCom Systems. Which strategies, approaches do you use in collecting user feedback? Maybe if you can explain just briefly on maybe on processes and tools that you use, that would add on to your answer.
But I think regarding user feedback collection, we don't really use special tools. We have my favorite tool, Notion, which is our tool for everything. And there we document and prepare interviews and just also do the analysis in there. And we, of course, have a CRM called HubSpot, which we use for like daily managing the customers. And also in there, we got some connections to the product itself.
Not to forget, we have an internal ticketing system. Practically
everyone yes, we do.
Probably has. So this is where we normally gather all the external feedback and all the requests towards product, and that would get transcribed into a ticket. So that's practically where and how we collect the feedback. Yes.
So Almir doesn't let you off that easily. He actually followed up with a question, and I think that's. I mean, you had several phases of development, but maybe you can explain this. So, how many users were involved in the testing phases, and for how long before your final implementation? And I would now talk about the redesign was decided.
Good question. It's some time ago. That's why I don't have concrete numbers right now, but I can already say, like managing customers for almost 1.5 years just led to many customer contacts, and there we always spotted the challenges just during the time, even before we started this whole project. Still, before really going into the concept phase, definitely we contacted, like, I don't know, between 15 and 20 customers. Let's say it like that. And directly got intensive sessions with them.
And then, of course, you mentioned, what I found quite interesting, was this kind of power user club where you regularly get feedback and talk face to face. And this is something I found very, very intriguing and very useful. And actually, there was a lot of positive comment from the audience on the product. Nice. So not only from the jury, also from the professionals watching. Last question, maybe from my side, was, I mean, you mentioned beforehand, Birgit, at the beginning, that one of the issues of the product is making the job more attractive, especially for new generations of people coming in, and they will be digitally native, you can bet. So did you get any feedback in that direction, whether this system, this app is making the job more attractive?
Very good question. I've probably never heard the word attractive in this context, I have to be honest. But the feedback, I think you could closely link it and practically translate it into that direction, because what we hear from a lot of users that we are working with now is that, oh yeah, the next generation will be super thrilled. Oh yeah, the next generation will be digital natives. Oh, the next generation, you will not have to explain that again, because they will know how to handle that. So that's practically what we hear now. So we assume that would lead to making the product more attractive for the younger target group. Yes.
But of course, you designed for here and now, and for people who should be enabled to work with the system. And this Absolutely. Was the core challenge. And I think this is what you achieved best. And that's why also the jury decided to hand out an product award to Vialytics. I stumbled upon a last question, but maybe on a general terms, and you're a German company, so this is also quite a big topic here. What about privacy, data protection? Because your app obviously takes a lot of images, documents, license plates, people, houses. I
think, Ake, you got disconnected, or is that my line only?
Should I read the question?
I think it was about data privacy, if I got that correctly, and about license plates. So I will try to answer that question without having heard the end of the question. Yes, that is a serious topic. So GDPR rules apply wherever we work. So what happens when we take pictures in the public area and the algorithm detects the damages, it would automatically also blur out all the license plates and all the faces. So the algorithm can detect any face, sometimes even dogs, but definitely every human face, and also license plates get completely blurred out. So once we import the data into the customer accounts and they have access to the data, they would not be able to see any license plates or faces. So that's totally GDPR compliant.
Users in the States and other countries.
Now, Chris, are you able to hear Aka? Because Aka, I think you got problems with your line.
Is it better now? Can you hear me now?
A tiny bit. You sound a bit like a robot, but we try.
So this is probably what happens here very often in Germany, a bad line. And actually Zoom has been going on and off, so it's quite a challenge here. Can you hear me better now?
We can hear you, yes.
Good. Thanks a lot for everybody who watched and for your enormous amount of feedback and questions. And thanks a lot for all of our presenters, Birgit, Christian, for Anton, Vlad, who joined, from Sandra, so from the company. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for bearing with the connection on my side sometimes. And if you miss anything, just jump to LinkedIn. You'll have a recording up there, and of course on our website, edited in a few days.